Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Talk Live. And I'm so glad to be here tonight, not just by myself, but with a guest. And not just any guest, but one of my aces, my sister, my friend, Minister Felicia Chamberlain, Spivey Chamberlain. She likes a whole name, but I just call her Sister Fee. This is my friend. Listen, before we get started in Tuesday Talk Live, I want to wish her, today is her birthday. You know, people love you when they're going to give up their special day to come and spend some time with you. Minister Felicia, you know how much I love you. Happy birthday, my sister. I have a cold. If not, I would be embarrassing myself and my grandkids who would watch at a later date said, Grandma did that birthday song that she always does. But since I'm not feeling the best, got my hot tea, maybe by the end, I'll be singing happy birthday. But I wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you from coming on tonight, sharing your time, spending time to get ready to share part of your testimony. We're going to be talking tonight, you guys, about from broken to healed. If you are anywhere near where you can chat, let us know that you are in the room. Send us a chat on Facebook, on LinkedIn, whatever you can, and let us know that you are watching. We want to know that you are here. We want to interact with you. So welcome again to Tuesday Talk Live. I know it's been a while since I've had guests on. I've just been rolling with however the Lord said, but he told me to have her to come on tonight and share why. This is, March has been Women's Empowerment Month, right, Felicia?
Yes.
And so with that, we want to empower some women to feel better, do better, live better, grow better, all that great stuff. So before we kick it off real big, why don't you tell the people, give them some background on you, who you are, where you hail from, just a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I am originally from Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl, East Coast. I've been in Texas for 30 years. What else? There's been a lot going on, a lot. Now, when me and Pastor Vera first met, when she joined UTA, and I walked past her office and I saw these shoes she had on, I was like, oh yeah, me and her are gonna be good friends. I love me some shoes. And then we started talking about, ministry and women and all the different projects we were working on. And then God put in my spirit. One day I walked in her office and I said, I'm gonna be your assistant.
And we both did the same thing. Well, you were looking serious, and I was like, "Are you?" Nah, we just stay friends. But I appreciate that, and I love how you said with the shoe part. So I will tell this: we both love shoes, and we love cute shoes. We love shoes. Period. Yeah. So we both have this thing about shoes. But the other thing, we both have a love for our faith. So you can go into either one of our offices and there's not going to be a time you don't see something encouraging about faith. And it doesn't matter what we're going through. We have some kind of word of encouragement. So when I would go to Minister Felicia's office, and lately I've been going in there and looking around saying, okay, what have you added to the board? What have you added to the wall? Because something's different. And it could be a posting about this big, but I'll see something different. I notice it. So the things that she's doing and saying, and her spirit was just, she wasn't all over the place like other people. When I first started there several years ago, people were coming and telling me, willingly trying to come and share things with me. I'm like, because I was a new manager there, like, I don't want to know all that. There was some of my staff, but she was just peaceful, calm, and walking through. And I think that was another thing, Felicia, that drew us together, that it drew us to interact with one another. So I love that about you, that not caught up in all the stuff, because we don't endeavor to be anyone's human trash can. So what I really wanted you to come on, and I apologize in advance, guys, just got this mucus or tickle in my chest that won't go away. What I wanted Minister Felicia to come on tonight, and we're going to start sharing a little bit of her story. So I want you to buckle your seatbelt. I don't know how deep she's going to go. I haven't given her any share this or share that, but you guys know she'll start sharing and we'll start talking. And if you've just joined us on Tuesday Talk Live, hey guys, say hello and let us know you're here. But I wanted her to come on and begin sharing her story because she has an amazing testimony of from broken. Good morning, Minister Trees. Good evening. I'm sorry. She has amazing testimony from being broken, living in a toxic relationship, and then walking in God's accepting. I'll say it this way, Felicia, accepting so that you can walk in God's healing. I won't take it from what I've seen of you these past years we've gotten to know each other. Your purpose in life is to help other women walk in healing and let them know that healing is available. So give us a little bit about the start and how you spiraled into this and into this toxic relationship.
Oh my gosh, it goes way back to 1979. When I first met this young man, I was a freshman in high school and he was a senior. And just the thought of someone showing me attention, I was in awe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, couldn't tell me nothing. I'm dating a senior. And then after he graduated, then he went to the Air Force. And then when I turned 17, I gave birth to our son. But before I gave birth to my son, I found out that when he went into the Air Force, he got married. And didn't tell me. They didn't tell anyone until they had to share that she was pregnant. So we were pregnant at the same time. Our sons are 5 months apart. You would have thought I would have learned my lesson, but I was so much in love with this man that I didn't care. I followed him.
Wow.
Once I graduated from high school, and then I followed him to Germany, bought a one-way ticket. Who does that? And,
a lot of our young people.
Yeah. And then I went over with a friend, and so happened we were able to get money for me to fly back. And when I got back, my mother gave it to me because I left my son with her that was probably 8 months old. And then so after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with him anymore.
So hold on. I want you to answer a question for me real quick because some young woman may be listening to this and say, well, I don't see anything really wrong. They were still together even though the other woman had the son. But was there something inside of you that felt like you needed to be with him or that kept drawing you that way?
There was, he said all the right things, I really love you. And, I married her for convenience and, we would make more money, going into the service as a married couple. Now, mind you, let me back up a little bit. The woman that he married, he dated in junior high.
So he married her, but you're going away with him.
Right.
Oh my. Okay, keep going.
And so a couple of 8 years had passed. They were married for 8 years, and then she left him. And then in between that, I had a daughter with another guy. But then when he came back, it was just like we picked up where we left off. We started dating again. At least I thought we were dating. He was still out there, seeing other women. But at that time in my life, let's move on to 1988 when my mom passed. And he was there for me. And so that was like, I thought, oh, he actually cares.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then I made a decision to move to Texas. And then when I got here, I was ready to start my new life. And then he called me and he was like, I think I'm going to come down to visit. I was like, oh, okay. And he came down, he visited. Then I got pregnant with our second son. Then he decided to stay. And then I found out how bad his drug addiction was. Um, and I didn't know what to do. I mean, I still loved him. I still saw the potential.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay. So then moving on.
Living on potential, not reality.
Yes, definitely. And through all those years, I catered. I became his codependent. I did everything for him and other people, and that's when I started to lose myself. Didn't realize it though, because I was given to everybody else
Mm-hmm.
and not given to myself, but that foundation wasn't there. Um, then we're going to go to 2012. 2012, 2013. I'm in my room. My daughter calls. My daughter brings me the phone and she's like, Ma, somebody's on the phone for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I get on the phone. I was like, hello. And they were like, is this Felicia? And I'm like, yes. And she was like, this is Demisha. And I'm like, okay. I was like, I'm calling to let you know that Rick and I have been dating. I'm like, okay. And I wanted to let you know I'm pregnant and we just got into an argument. And I'm like, and you're calling me because?
I'm sorry for laughing, but that's bold. That's bold and brazen.
Yeah, I know, right? And so, she just went on and talked and she was like, I know y'all been together, for a lot of years. And at that time, I'm like, yeah, we're going on 30 something years that overall we've known each other. And she was like, well, I told him I'm going to keep the baby. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Hung up. I was just lost for words. And then so later that evening, he came in the house. I act like nothing happened. Took my shower, went to bed, got up the next morning. And before I left out the house, I said, oh, yeah, by the way, your girl Misha called and she says she's pregnant. And the look on his face. And I just walked out the house, went on to work, cried all the way to work. I cried at work, cried coming home. And when I got here, and he was like, yeah, I called my mom, and told her what happened. And my mother said, 5? And I was like, yeah, you're still alive. There's nothing I could do. I was so hurt and so broken. And that's when I decided to go see a counselor. And I went for her. I had like 6 or 7 sessions. And I started to see the light a little bit. So then in July of 2013.
So hold on, before you go there, I want people to realize what you've been talking about here, because there may be some people that are hopping in now, and they're going to come in later and they're going to hear just these pieces. But what Minister Felicia is talking about, where you go from broken to healed, and she's telling the trajectory of this journey from in a timeline, because it started way back. They were together, they were apart, they were in and out, and And the reason I guess I want people really to know the reason I want you to share, just like I had Minister Trees, who's on here, share her story before too, is that we get stuck in these cycles, Felicia.
Mm-hmm.
The way what you're talking about is a cycle that we as women sometimes get stuck in that we don't know how to come out of. And even when you said you're going to say you listen to a counselor and you're going to tell more about that, you listen to her, you saw the light a little bit, but I think we get stuck in this place and we don't even understand our worth, and we don't even understand who we are. So we build our worth in the life of another person, and then the words they say to us, the words that, oh, and I've been there, done that. At times, I sometimes get caught up in what someone says, and I have to, okay, shake yourself, girl. What they said is not really your story. Your story is what God said about it. But if you don't know that piece, right? If at that time you didn't know that piece, it was what Mr. said, how Mr. made you feel. Mr. said all the right things at all the right time. So, and then he was there at the right moment when you needed him, when your mom passed away. So it was all the right things at the right time. And so just anybody who's listening, I want you to hear what she's saying has been happening. She's in and out, up and down, but there's something for me listening to her story. Every time I listen to it, there's something that was missing, and she'll get to that because she'll tell you how she found herself. But realize, young lady, she's not saying it was okay what she did. She's saying this is a journey and she had to find her way out of it. And what I hear from it is that she didn't know who she was as God's daughter through this part of her journey. So she was finding. Young lady, if you're trapped in a situation where you're finding your identity in that man, woman, whoever, that's not the answer. But I'm going to let you continue, Felicia, but I wanted to interject that because I hear it all through the in and out.
Oh, okay. Oh, so let me back up just a little bit. Whereas there was this chick living next door, and so one night she came over. I opened the door and she's standing there crying, and she talking about me and Rick been dating and he just punched me in my face again. What do you want me to do?
Girl, I don't know.
I'm gonna call the police. Then that's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then so he got charged with a domestic violence. Ended up had to do 9 months in jail. And here I go every Saturday at the jail visiting.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So then moving back into July 2013. I had a partial hysterectomy. So I'm here at the house, resting like I'm supposed to do, recuperating. And then he says, I need to use the car. And I said, for what? He said, well, Misha's in labor and I need to be there. I said, well, then you need to rent a car. And he was like, okay. And let me tell you what he did. He waited for me to go to sleep. Then you took my car and you drove to Oklahoma. Because that's where she gave birth. And then you go and call me and say, the delivery was good, the baby's healthy, it's a girl. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then you come back a couple of days later as though nothing happened. And so I'm like, okay, you got to find somewhere else to stay. You can't stay here. And he was like, okay, I'll find someplace. I'm like, okay. So 3 months had went by. You still here. Then you left. You and her found an apartment. 2 weeks later, you calling me and you're like, Misha got arrested for shoplifting, and me and the baby can't stay here. Can we come? Can we come to the house?
Lord.
And my thought was, well, you know what? And here I am trying to justify allowing him to come back, by saying, well, the baby don't have nothing to do with it. It's not her fault. So I let him come back. 3 years, I helped him raise his daughter until the mother got out of jail. And then she was like, well, I don't think it's good for, her name is Araya. I don't think it's good for Araya, to be going, back and forth and all these excuses. And I will say this. At that time, when all this chaos was going on, all the lying and cheating, the addiction, and I was just totally broken, Araya came into my life. She needed me and I needed her. I needed somebody to love, and she needed somebody to love her. And that's where our bond started.
So after Rick, I hate saying people's names on here. I apologize, but he's messed up. You got the baby. Baby goes back. I want to jump into, how do you begin to see for yourself, this isn't healthy. Something has to change. Like, my Lord, what am I doing to Felicia? What am I doing to Felicia day in and day out, that I keep allowing this perpetual behavior back in and out, back and forth? Because I know, even when we was in Sister Circle the other day, and Minister Teresa was saying how sometimes you're there, you don't understand what it's going to take for a person, right, to say enough. So what was your breaking point?
I don't know. I asked myself that question. I asked myself that question a long time ago, Pastor Vera. What is my breaking point? Well, definitely can't be cheating, because I was still here. Can't be the lying. Can't be the addiction. Can't be the emotional, abuse. Where was the love? Where was the compassion? It was nowhere. It was not until, when I say I got tired, and you hear me say it sometimes, he should have caught me when I cared. Because when I stopped caring, it was a done deal.
Yeah.
It was.
Minister Tree said it was you had an awakening. And I know she can relate with you, because she's gone through similar stuff. But I guess sometimes you just wake up and you say, enough.
Yeah. And then I started journaling, and, and God had put on my heart years and years ago to start a ministry to help, guide women. If it was just, conversation, to help heal, to regain their voice. And
so in this time that when you were going through all this with your ex, and before you got out of this, did you have a strong, I won't say you didn't have faith, because I believe God has put a piece of him inside of all of us. It's just a matter of tapping into it and submitting to it. Were you connected to your faith strong before, or you launched more into your faith after you said enough? Like you said, He should have caught me when I cared. And then you were like, now I care about me. Was
Yeah,
it was it like you heard that still small voice saying, don't care about that anymore? You got to care about you.
yeah. It was the support um of my children, and they
Amen.
were like, and one is social work. So he said, "Ma, it's about self-care. You have to start caring for yourself and um not be available for everybody when they ask you for something." And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, okay, okay. And then, I started thinking, I was like, what kind of example am I to my children that I have allowed this
Mm.
man for so many years to do this to me? And I'm like, that just showed me that I did not really love myself. I didn't care enough about myself to want to do anything about it.
Wow. That's that awakening Teresa's talking about. Wow.
Yeah,
And so
so
then here now comes the shift, right?
it, girl, it shifted. It shifted,
You yeah, it did, because I know one of the things that we talk about all the time is protect your peace. If it's messing with your peace, it's not something's not right. When my peace starts getting off, then look, we gotta do something different here.
You
So
better
I
get
know I appreciate what I see God has done. I didn't know the old, but I know from what you tell me. And we were having a conversation. I know when we were going down to Houston, you shared a whole lot more in detail, and we had a nice long drive, and you had to keep me awake. um, and you shared details about a lot of other things. But I will say this: I appreciate God's hand. God has had His hand on you for a very long time. He kept you through all this and a whole lot of other things. And it's something about the mercy and the grace of God that He's carrying us through when we don't even know how much He is or how much we need it. And then what He's going to do with that later. So all that you were going through, even when you didn't even know how much God loved you and wanted you to love yourself, He had purpose. And now He's doing that with wealth of self. He wants you to have the wealth of self. So yeah, it's great. But keep going, keep telling us about now that you shift. Now, we have talked about this before, so I want you to share with these people. Was healing just like, oh, I'm done with this, and now I'm good?
Oh, no, 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 no. There's days where I know healing is still needed, you know, within me, because I could just have a moment and think back, and I'm like, what? I allowed that to happen? And, as in going way, way back, I just thought about this, because the cheating, I feel like, was a part of our relationship from the beginning. And
Hmm.
it just went through. And then when we were still living in Jersey, and he had told me, hold on a minute, I got to plug my thing up. Okay. Yeah. We were still in Jersey, girl. And he told me he was going out of town with his family for Thanksgiving. And come to find out, he lied. And he had some girl up at the house. And my best friend at the time, I said, I need you to take me to Rick's house. And she was like, okay. And then on the corner, there was the guys, the hustlers. And I said, stop the car. And she stopped the car, and I rolled the window down, and I knew one of the guys. And I was like, you got your gun on you? And he was like, why? And I said, I need to borrow it. And he was like, no, I'm not giving it to you. Had he given me that gun, who knows what would have happened? or where I would have been, because that's how mad I was. But again, did I leave them? Did I leave it alone? Nope.
Wow. So what do you do now? After then, so now you said enough. It's over. What are some practices? Give somebody listen. You have a young lady listen here, and she's been down some of this road, and she's making some changes in her life, and she needs to know there are practical things. First, you just talked about self-love. You have to, I would say, you have to love yourself, but you have to know who you are in God. I would say you have to know who you are in God. When you're doing that, give some practical things that you do on a regular. What are some things you do on a regular to work towards your healing and to maintain that healing?
Well, every day is affirmations. I have them all over the house, in the bathroom, on the mirror.
Say that you kind of blocked out for a minute. So say that again a little louder.
Affirmations.
Information. Okay. Affirmations. Yes.
Affirmations. Yes. So I have them all over the house. And I tell myself, I'm beautiful. And, my theme song, I love my Mary J. Hello, gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of them. And you got to love on yourself. God is always going to love you. But love yourself first before you can love anybody else. So right now I feel that I'm not emotionally available for anybody.
Okay.
Because I'm
Okay.
still in my healing process.
Okay.
And it's still all about me. I have nothing to offer any man at this time.
That's honest.
Yeah. I know. Some of the other thing is I journal. I have all these different workbooks, devotionals, but the workbooks, you have to go in every day and journal something. And it has a question to prompt you to write. Get you a good support person, group, the people that you can trust.
Yes. Yes.
Not the ones that's going to tell you business, but the ones that you can trust, and the ones that are going to be honest with you. You can sit there and be talking, and I'll be like, Pastor Bear, now you know better.
Yes, those are friends.
And
Those are friends, and that's what we need. Accountability partners, I call them.
Mm-hmm. And it comes from love. So those are just a few things.
I love the way you just said that, because lots of times, I have books. Y'all know I'm a book person. Books, I have journals. But I love the way you said it's the workbook. You have to do the writing. You have to do something daily, because if we get out of practice, it doesn't help us, right? So I love the way you said that. One, you have the affirmations. You talk to yourself all the time, because if we don't build ourselves up, but what we present is the brokenness. And you said so many key things in that, just that little piece right there. One, you're not emotionally available for a man right now. And we see these cycles we were talking about, the cycle that you were stuck in, but we see people come out of one and jump back in another. Out of one, we say, why does she keep attracting the same type of guy? Why she just left Jim that was acting crazy like that. Now she with Billy Bob and he crazy, and Craig who's crazy. But it's because you have that same emotional spirit attached to you that's drawing that same emotional. They see that brokenness and they prey on it. So if we realize that we're not emotionally available because we haven't healed, like you said, I'm still in my healing process. So how am I making myself available in that aspect? There's other things you do. You have fun. Like we did something the other week. We went and had fun. There's other things we do to enjoy life. We're not saying live in a bubble, plastic shield. Hey, I'm, a force field around us. It's not what she's saying. What she's saying is that piece of life that I know I'm not ready for, I'm not stepping into as I'm still healing. Because if not, I'm going to be taking more, I'm just carrying more baggage. And then I unload my baggage in that relationship, or that person unloads their baggage. And then again, we're in that same situation. So I heard that. Then I also heard the part about the work. Do the work. Lots of times healing takes work. So we have the sore. We don't want the infection cleaned out. We don't want to be cleaned out. We don't, because some of those workbooks, some of those questions, Felicia, I'm gonna tell you, it asks you like, whoa, I don't go back there. You telling me to talk about that? You telling me to look at that? Nope. So that's the work you're talking about. And a lot of us avoid that. A lot of
Yes.
us will avoid the work because it's painful, it's complicated, um, it's uncomfortable. It makes you sometimes not just address the offender, but your part in the offense. Because you say it often. You have never denied this. You said, I was his codependent. I led into it. I fed into it. And so that took work to say that, I'm sure, and to get
It
where
did.
you are.
It did. And one of the things that I had started doing was labeling the broken pieces.
Wow.
I was like, okay, this piece is anger, this part is shame, this piece is guilt. Um, uh, and sometimes you just have to take those broken pieces and be true to yourself. And so now I'm on the other side of it with the healing, and I say it to you all the time. My peace is non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're not going to
Amen.
negotiate. We're not going to negotiate my peace to satisfy you. Doesn't work like that anymore. And
Amen.
I I had a conversation, like Rick called me today, wished me happy birthday. And then so I was like, I want to ask you a question. Why didn't you love me?
Oh,
And he said he couldn't love me through his addiction. And then he said, but know that you are a queen worthy to be loved.
amen.
I said, thank you.
And sometimes they realize it, but they just don't have it to give. Sometimes they don't have it to give, and we're trying to squeeze. But that goes back to what you said. You knew the potential was there, but the reality, he wasn't doing it, right?
Right,
And sometimes we're so busy. We are so, as women, as nurturers, we want to squeeze the potential out. But that person's like, don't squeeze me. This is where I am. Don't squeeze me. I ain't trying to make lemonade. My one of my spiritual mothers used to say, the only way you get lemonade is you got to squeeze the lemon. Well, some people don't want you squeezing them. They don't care. They don't want to be that good, fresh. I love lemonade, y'all, and I love fresh lemonade. They don't want to be that good, fresh lemonade. They don't want to be squeezed. They want to be left alone. Because this is all they potential. I often say potential is just a word, and potential is just a word unless it's activated, right? It's like stagnant water after a storm, which becomes foul and of no use. Something you want to get rid of if you don't activate potential.
right,
So sometimes we're squeezing people for what we know we see or what we want. And it causes us to be broken because we see it, we know it's there, or we desire it. And that's how we get disappointed too, because the expectation. So I'm sure you had some expectations from the relationship. Like, I know he can be this because all the things he said. But now your expectation is, I know I'm going to walk in peace because I love me. I know God
yes,
loves me. Hello, gorgeous, when I wake up in the morning. And y'all, when she walks around that office, I think that's the other thing. I was like, that's my girl. So we both from the East Coast. So we got a little bit of that East Coast assertiveness. I don't like to say we arrogant or aggressive. We have a little bit of that East Coast assertiveness. So we walk proud. And I will say this. I walk proud because I finally know who I am. I didn't always know unapologetically who I was as God's daughter. I didn't always know, Felicia. I didn't always have that assurity that beyond a shadow of a doubt. I just told somebody this yesterday. In the midst of everything I'm going through right now, one thing no one can take from me is I am God's daughter. I am chosen by him. He has put his seal upon me, and I'm going to be okay through anything and everything I go through. I'm God's. And when you know that, you walk. You know, when things try to weigh you down, you say, get off me. My back has to be straight. And when I see Miss Felicia, that's how she's walking. She's walking like, no, I'm God's daughter. And I love me, and I'm not going to let you make me not love me by your behavior. Ain't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What else would you want to share with our listeners tonight that are listening? I mean, I see some people online. It must be hitting home to some people because people aren't chatting like they normally do. They must just be listening. I know these type of conversations are heavy because people start thinking, oh, wow, you went through that. You did that. You allowed that. Why are you talking about that? You know why we do this, guys? Because we need to expose the enemy. If we don't expose the enemy and what he's doing in the lives of our young women, and they don't see this beautiful sister that's come through and now she's living in her peace and walking through her healing, then they think they have to stay where they are. That's why we do what we do, right, Felicia?
Yes. And, you don't have to remain broken. Mm-mm. And once you realize that, then you can become and align yourself with what God has given you. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I want to share is, when I talked about how Araya, how we needed each other, full circle. During the summer, I became her foster parent. Because of some things that's going on with her mom. Her and her sisters and her brother got taken out of the home and were placed in foster care. And it just so happened she was staying with me the weekend that CPS went in and took her siblings. So I say she's back home where she belongs.
Amen. And getting the love and prayer and being shown that she doesn't have to be broken either.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when I first...
So tell us a little bit about Wealth of Self before we get off of here tonight. Because I want people to know that's how one of the ways we started connecting. We started talking, and we'll talk about some things that you and I have coming up. We just don't chit chat about and share affirmations. We have done some things together that the Lord has really just kind of blown our mind in the midst of a room. But that's when God says it, he does it. Tell us a little bit about Wealth of Self Ministries.
It's new.
In God's vision. Sorry, in God's vision for it.
In God's vision, yes. It's new. I'm still working on getting it up and going. But it is about helping women share, helping women find that foundation, whether it's toxic relationship or career move, or they just want to improve where they are and make that transition from broken to becoming.
Amen. Amen.
Yes. And so when I started, and we talked about this, it was focused on women. But what has God done? He's brought this youth in my path. And I'm like, okay, those things, this younger generation, they need it.
Yes.
They need the foundation, especially these young women. And they need to know that they're loved,
Hmm.
and they don't have to just settle for anything that these young men tell them,
No,
you know?
like we did.
Yeah. And so now with Felicia, I tell her, I said, if a young man tells you that you're cute and you look good, and you tell him, yeah, my daddy, the father, he he tells me that all the time.
Or my mama Felicia tells me that all the time. Uh-oh. That her system or mine? Well, as we wait for her to reconnect, her system to reconnect, I'll tell you guys about a few things that we've done with her Wealth of Self Ministries. Last year, we did a women's retreat. We did an overnight women's retreat, a joint venture. And guys, it was so powerful. And one of the things that God gave Minister Felicia to do with that was to focus on removing the mask. It's, really talking about healing. And one of the things, because she said, remember, she talked about that she had to identify, that she had to label the broken pieces. And so we had such a great time where we labeled brokenness. And it was so amazing that we hid the words, but we laid them under a mask. And every woman that came in, every woman that came in grabbed a mask and they had to talk about it. We had a women's overnight. My lovely, wonderful daughter prepared dinner for us and dessert for us. We had such an amazing time. But every woman, and it probably was, I think, 12, 14 of us there, every woman that picked up a mask with a word, and no one saw the word before they picked it up. Even me, I didn't see what word I was going to pick up. The word was appropriate for what they were going through, what they needed to share, what God wanted to deal with them in that season of their life. In that season of their life, we had various age groups. And so, and even as we were leaving out and praying out the next day, God gave my grandson a word. He's walking and he's listening, he's helping clean up, and God gave him a prophetic word for us. And so I just thank God for what he's doing. Oh, she said her internet went out. That happened to me last week, you guys. Let me see. Just seeing if she can rejoin on her phone, not sure. But then we also guys did we also had a healing series. We did an event in October, and the Lord allowed us to talk about healing and emotions, and the Lord really met us there too. So you're probably going to see some announcements coming back from me and Minister Felicia. You may see them come up. We're thinking about doing the removing the mask. Just in another slight way. However, the Lord says it probably won't be an overnight thing this time. It'll probably be a one-day retreat at a location. And then we're also going to have, just a couple of more events. And if you're interested in attending, let me know. But we know that God wants his women healed. We know God, his women and his men. There are some young men that have been, some guys that have gone through some hurts and pains, and they don't have anybody to talk to. We know some brothers that can talk to your situation, your circumstance, and we want you to be healed. So it's not just the women, it's some men. So we can connect you with the places and the people that you need to get to be healed. So again, Felicia, I was telling them about the event we had with the overnight retreat, and then the event we had in October, and how the Lord really met us in both of those, and that how we're going to do They're removing the mask again, and how we're going to do something else. And if they even know men that need to be healed. Felicia mentioned that her son is a counselor, social worker, but he's a counselor. He's a therapist, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's a therapist. So again, we know we are connected to individuals, not just her, but I know pastoral leadership that are well equipped to minister to men in these broken areas and can talk to situations and circumstances, because I think it's important that men talk to strong men. Men have that fatherly, godly figure that can speak into their lives. If you have young boys that need to be put back on track with some things, they're just making bad decisions. We can lead them, guide them to care in places that they need to. So you're going to see some things come back out from us, and don't shy away. Come fellowship with your sisters. Join our sister circle if you can. We have a sister circle every fourth Saturday of the month. It was so powerful this week. And just what it does, it says you're not alone. Yeah. I don't know if about anybody else, but man, it wasn't just a joining, like you're not alone. We're not walking this journey. We go through stuff, but we're not alone. We're not alone, guys. Anything else you want to share, Minister Felicia? I know your internet. That happened to me last week, by the way.
Wait a minute. No, I want to thank you for inviting me.
Amen.
I don't like to speak in engagement stuff, but I'm going to come out my comfort zone.
I pressed her, guys. And when I asked her, she's like, I said, no background. You got to come to the forefront. You have so much to share with people, but yes.
But so thank you.
Oh, my blessing. Sister Nicole, I will inbox you the information. I will send it to you when we get off of this call. And anyone else that is interested in joining the sister circle, please, you can inbox me. I will make sure you get the information. It is so powerful every fourth Saturday of the month. And we don't stay on there long. We do maybe an hour and a half. We have a time of sharing questions, just being there for one another. Pastor Keisha Jones from Baltimore, Maryland, one of my really good friends, is going to be up. So she has the baton next month on April 25th. She has the baton and she's going to share. And my Lord, when people tell what they've been through, see, we see the polished version, right? People see you walk down the hall like I saw you. I see this beautiful woman walk down the hall in her shoes and and you can get the wrong, not saying wrong, you get the right impression. You see the handiwork of God.
Yes.
What we don't know is what people have gone through. We don't know the glass, the cold, the fire, the storm that a person has gone through to walk like that. Lots of times we're going to be what somebody is or look like somebody, but you don't know the storm that they've gone through. Sister Nicole said, thank you for the conversation. Absolutely. And maybe, Nicole, we need to get you on here to share. But you don't know what a person's gone through. People look at me, they see me talk, oh, she's cheery. They don't know my story. They don't know my past story. They don't know my current story. All they know is, hey, she likes to talk. She get on there. No, first of all, this was hard as heck for me to start doing, but I'm not going to be stopped. When I say that I'm a warrior for God, I mean it. And the devil cannot shut my voice. So they don't know our story, right, Felicia? They don't know. They don't know what you've gone through. They don't know. And I'm going to share this piece she didn't share it, but they don't know that she was at death's door several times. And when the enemy tried to take her life as a young woman, she told me some stories. I'm like, Lord, girl, God, he had angels all around you for this moment. As they say, that for such a time as this. They don't know your story. But I thank God that your story ends this way.
Yes.
That God did like this. He turned the page in your book. He turned the page in your book. And now he's reading a different story so that other people can see. So, bless you, my sister. I pray your birthday was immensely blessed and continue on. Sorry, you got to change. It's going to April tomorrow. You can't say it's your miracle magic month anymore.
No, but it's still Aries. So, I got that.
So thank you all for being here with us on Tuesday Talk Live, whether you're watching it tonight, whether you're going to watch it later, whether you replay it. If you are blessed by Tuesday Talk Live, please like and subscribe, share the channel with someone else, invite others to come on and watch the show with us on Tuesday Talk Live. We will see you next week at 6:30 Central Standard Time. It's 7:30 Eastern. Again, we'll see you next week on Tuesday Talk Live. I'm your host, Vera Sadler, and this has been my guest, Minister Felicia Spivey Chamberlain. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.